from an MCL injury through pre-season, so I was really surprised to see her out for round one, but shouldn't have been, knowing how well she attacks everything and how professional she is in her approach to her football.
These two teams know each other so well, of course, met on grand final day last year, but they've both been there and thereabouts for many, many years. North Melbourne, we know, Kate, they're key to success. That coalface is going to be critical today. Brisbane like to win it and get it forward. North have to just embrace the chaos that Brisbane will create.
Certainly do, and when they get the opportunity to take a mark and slow the game down against Brisbane, it's really hard to play tempo because they want to play so quickly. So sometimes you fall into that trap of playing a similar role to them. But as soon as we see North Melbourne take uncontested marks, that's when you know they've got their game going. So that'll be the key indicator for them to be owning the game, but it'll be the key indicator for the Lions to know that they are taking the North Melbourne game away from them.
Yeah, they'll be looking to upset those uncontested possession chains this afternoon in really hot conditions. Temperatures up around 35 degrees. Very testing for both teams. Obviously, the Brisbane Lions a little more accustomed to it. It's been warm building up to the weekend in Brisbane. And the Brisbane Lions open their premiership defence against the team they defeated for the title. Opening round grand final rematch, Brisbane and North Melbourne in Springfield. First possession's a little handball from Anderson. It's taken by Hickey. High kick towards half forward. Carney has front position. She got one over the shoulder. Mark Endor free kick. Emma Carney, the veteran, still as hungry as ever.
So there it is early, that short 45. That's their first go-to option when they have the ball in hand.
50 game of Bresnahan. Kangas got a couple today. Mia King also, congratulations for her 50th, and 50 for Courtney Hodder. Mark taken by Craven. So a patient build-up, as Kate's described. That's a beautiful kick. Just floated a little bit on Bella Eddy. She's got to track it back, but you can see the system. You can see what they're trying to do.
Absolutely. So anytime they can get an uncontested possession or a handball received, which we saw two of in that play. Really good mark as well from Tess Craven. Jade Ellinger sitting under the footy. She was able to attack it, take the mark. So, yeah, the uncontested marks, uncontested possessions will be the one I'll keep an eye on.
Just got to be so careful. Brisbane is so good on the counter from half-back. Just cannot give them the football in a dangerous spot. Anderson's kick. North set up well behind the ball. It's Carney again. Yet again, she'll take the short little 45 option. This is Riddell. Back to Carney for that handball receive. And they work it inside 50. Can't hit a target. Conan comes out. Tackled by Randall. Spillage created. Chance for Vicky Wall. North get the opening goal. Great moment for Vicky Wall, who missed last season of AFLW. She was playing rugby sevens for Ireland, trying to make the Olympics this year. She's returned to AFLW in 2024 and has an immediate impact.
So if you could draw up the way that North Melbourne would have wanted to start this game, it's exactly what we've seen in the first 2 minutes. They've been able to get uncontested marks. Emma Carney has had 2 handball receives, as has Libby Birch, and they've been able to get the ascendancy around the ground. Whilst Brisbane have won the first 2 clearances of the match, this looks like a North Melbourne controlled game at the moment.
Great story for Vicky Wall. Missed last season playing rugby sevens, trying to get selected for the Ireland Olympic team. Missed out on that, but she's back in AFLW this year, and there's a clearance for North Melbourne through Garner. Deep kick gets over the top. Here's a great opportunity. Sheila just needs to get a boot on it. She can't. It's still there for the Kangas. Randall's little handball to Eddie. Doesn't find the target. Scrambling defence. Well played, Ellinger. Smothered off her boot. North Melbourne relentless early. Garner. Riddell. Wrapped up by O'Dwyer. Ball up.
Wow, that was some desperation defence from both teams there. Great smother trying to get the ball out of D50, but also some great tackling. Hard pays to tackle on both of these teams.
The tap from Randall, the gather from Garner, the snap from Riddell was smothered off her boot again. O'Dwyer will just look to clear the zone. It'll come back. North is set up well behind the football. This is Libby Birch. Her first touch for the Kangas is cut off. And this is the dangerous spot that Brisbane can launch from, and here they go. Spark gives it off. Away comes Dawes through the middle of the ground. She'll kick towards half forward, tries to turn the defence around, but Ferguson stands in the way.
Yeah, I think if Libby had that kick again, she'd go a little bit less corridor, very hard to defend.
Dawes again, well intercepted. And then the smother came from Sarah Wright, the come forward to defence. Dawes, she rips it in. Umpire says ball it up.
Lucky to get away with that one, I think. Just put the arm out and dragged it straight back in. But yeah, that's the zone, and this is the style of play we're talking about. See how North, they had to go really quickly then, or they felt like they had to go quickly. That's what Brisbane makes you feel, because they go so quick. You want to go so quick to match them.
Beautiful step from Conway. Had all the time, the poise and the accuracy to find Davidson. And Dakota can go back and tie things up.
Brilliant use of the football from Conway, first of all, to evade the traffic coming her way. But Dakota Davidson actually had a 2-on-1 there, but she put the ball beautifully to her advantage, so the extra defender could not get a play at it.
Coming off a career best season, her 5th in AFLW, All-Australian Premiership winner, kicked 23 goals, 8 for the season. Does a lot. Huge swing from right to left. Minor score for Dakota.
So can the Lions lock this ball in their front half like we've seen North been able to do and get some repeat entries early?
Check the wind conditions with Alyssa Smith shortly to see whether or not that was the wind that grabbed that football. It'll get over the back of this contest. Craven in one direction. Allinger again comes forward to defend. Beats a couple of tacklers. Flips the handball. Grider needed to be quick. Smothered off her hands by King. Garner gets it. Received the intercept from Bolts. Kick over the back. Now a chance for North Melbourne. Wall's already got one. Can she make this one sit? Not quite. Socket forward by Martin. Dunn is there for the Brisbane side. She's run down by Randall. Campbell will happily fumble it over the line. So it's a couple of times, Kate, they've got over the back of this Brisbane defence and the Lions have scrambled.
They certainly have. They've been able to get the ball out the back. In that occasion, there was 2-on-1. I would have loved to see Talia Randall there just block Bree Conan so that even if Vicky Wall didn't get the correct bounce, which she didn't, she had a little bit more time. Could have played that a little bit better. Probably should have been a North Melbourne goal.
King tried to take it out of the ruck, then just slaps it on. Conan. O'Dwyer will look to clear. The pitch just outside defensive 50. The work here for Postlethwaite. And again, good work from Birch. Smothers it over the line.
So North Melbourne are coming up and creating that wall in defence to try and keep the ball inside their forward half. Brisbane Lions forwards are coming up with them. So Lily Postlethwaite on that occasion, she had no one to kick to. That's why she had to step back inside, which invited the pressure from Birch.
Fascinating tactical battle already between two teams who are well prepared for each other. Both know what they're going to get from the opposition. And what a battle it's going to be as they try to impose themselves. Tripodi inside 50. Randall got a run and jump. Did anyone touch it? Just to the left-hand side for a minor score. Let's hit boundary side, Alyssa Smith. Is there a breeze, Alyssa? We'll come back to Alyssa shortly. Kick in from Campbell. Allinger to Conway. She's ripped down, but tackles the tie from Gatt. So Conway will have it. Another coming off a super season, All-Australian and a premiership, averaging 14 touches a game last season, and kicked 12 goals, 8 as that wing half-forward type, Kate, that's just so valuable in AFLW.
So you'll see herself and Orla O'Dwyer running goal square to goal square in this game, both defensively and offensively.
Allinger's kick towards the 50-gamer Hodder. And takes the grab in front of another 50-gamer, Bresnahan.
Have we seen a more exciting 50 games for anyone than we've seen from Courtney Hodder?
Kick from Anderson is perfect. Good ball movement from Brisbane. And Kathy Spark takes it. She wanted to go. And the word from Craig Starcevich, K-Mac, is that we might be seeing a bit more of Kathy in this role forward inside 50. She's creative, and we already know what a great runner and tackler she is as she gives it back to Conway.
So Conway will be a little bit out of her range as well. But, yeah, it'll be that forward pressure game they'll be looking at from Kathy Spark. Conway
will set it up. Hodder. Here's Smith at the back. Tackle came from Carney. Mullins put some pressure on. Rennie in there working hard with Amy Smith. Umpire calls for it.
And the other thing I wouldn't be surprised is as this game goes on or the season goes on, Kathy Spark playing that defensive forward role as well can be really valuable because we know how important rebound defenders are in the AFLW.
She might get some lockdown rolls, and if she gets over the back goal side, good luck, you're not going to catch her. And this is Sinead Davison, who's down and injured.
Copped one in the marking contest, just some front-on contact from Wall going back with it, but
that's an arm in the sling straight away.
Showing a lot of concern for her.
Right shoulder, or as she's put her hand down, I reckon, Kate, on the ground.
And the thing to look at too, Jace, it's already heavily strapped.
Yeah.
So has had complaints, and that does not look good. You could tell straight away from the concern that Lutkin showed. Called the trainer straight out. So
she's had a bad run with injury, poor Sinead. She's played 18 games for the West Coast Eagles. She had a hamstring that ended her 2021 season. She had a knee in season 7, didn't play a game at all last season. Coming off a career best, makes her Brisbane debut. She might be out of the game in the opening turn. More from Alyssa shortly. Anderson at ground level. Tries to shrug a tackle, quick whistle. Very quick whistle. Ellie's like, hang on, I was on my way to goal. So ball up, 15 out from the Brisbane goal. Tap to Tripodi. Bresnahan has got boot to ball to try and clear the area. How will the umpires see this? Oh, it's last touch anyway. So Conway will have it. Brisbane now taking some time to lock it in their front 50. Conway hits the first option. It's a short one. It's to Postlethwaite from 55 out. Sets it up. Smith won't get there. Ellinger turns tackler. In there working hard, Smith. Tried to get it to Mullins. Carney scrapping as always. Punches out a handball. Ricocheted off Ellinger. In fact, it was Bolts to Dawes. Can she get it over the top of Birch? Libby rushes it through.
Good last line defending there from Libby Birch, who's caught up in the net there. She's been tangled up there, but very good to get her hand on that one before it crossed over. But I think just back on Sinead Davison, it's shattering. We don't know the outcome obviously yet, but to work her way into this Brisbane team round 1 for her after her first ever pre-season, we know how competitive this team is to crack into. That's a real credit to her off-season, and we really hope that it's not as bad as at first thought.
You can certainly see the pressure going through right from the wrist all the way up through the elbow and into the shoulder. So our thoughts with Sinead. We'll hear more from Alyssa shortly as soon as the club's made a diagnosis. Dawes, what a fine player she's grown into in recent years. That one's out of bounds. It'll come back. But Belle Dawes coming off a premiership, second in their best and fairest last year. It's going to be
It's the unfortunate thing about the AFLW. You do a 1-2 on the boundary and it ends up going out.
Last touch.
It's a lasso free kick because you handballed it.
Correct. And Davidson's got it on the wing.
They've been able to get forward half time now in this last part of this quarter. We saw North Melbourne build it up really nicely, but beautiful kick from Davidson. They're really having trouble getting it out of their back half now, North.
Lily Postlethwaite just pops it over the top. Conway just in perpetual motion from 52. Again, they'll attack that spot at the top of the square. Smith will come out and crash the pack. Garner just has to hack it out of there. Great use of the body by Shearlaw, but there's the wall being built again. Anderson got it to Conway. Tried to flip it out. North have got some numbers. Shearlaw, Riddell. Can they find an exit on the wing? Gonna have to work really hard to get here, O'Loughlin. She does. Keeps it alive. Cuts inside. Dangerous kick. Cut off. Good mark. Belle Dawes took it on the way down.
Just can't get their way over halfway at the moment. North Melbourne, they've had to come up so high to defend and to help to get the ball out, but they've got nothing to go to if they do take a relieving mark or get the ball from forward half onwards.
Dwyer wheels onto her left, but good work from Bresnahan to get to the front of the contest on Postlethwaite.
So can they get some time in possession here? Find some marks, find some uncontested ball.
There's that handball receive again. This time it's King who launches it long inside 50. Roos need to scrap now. It's O'Loughlin trying to provide that. Eddie in there as well as we head down to Alyssa Smith.
Okay, thank you very much. I've just had an update on Sinead Davison. She's currently having her right wrist. Her right wrist is being assessed from the club. We saw her come off and her arm was wrapped up in her Guernsey like a sling, but at the moment it's her right wrist that is being assessed. The wind down here, it is gusting at times, which could cause problems for players.
Thanks, Alyssa. Kate, you're feeling her pain. You had wrist surgery this week yourself.
I did. Hopefully it's a better outcome than what I required, because she won't be playing for too long if she needs surgery. But yeah, it just really didn't look good. As soon as the wrist sort of hit the ground, it just buckled under her. But I'm really hoping for her, for all the work she's put in over the pre-season, that's not the worst case scenario.
And Alyssa's just provide confirmation she won't be back this afternoon. So Brisbane are down a player in 35-degree heat. Conan under some pressure now from Amy Smith. Dragged down. Umpire said play on. O'Dwyer to Jen Dunn. This is the element of Jen's game she's added this season in year 2. The ability to run with the football and create some offence. Goes towards Hodder. Well done, right. Over the top, Bresnahan confronted by Bolts. Turnover comes. Free kick goes to Garner for holding the football or illegal disposal, either or. Kick inside to Tripodi. Look out. Taken down is Erica O'Shea, swallowed up by Dakota Davidson, and O'Shea a little sore.
That's a huge tackle from your key forward. That's not what you anticipate from them, but being able to provide that and add that into Dakota Davidson's game will only propel her forward further as a key forward in the game.
Ryder's kick cut off. It was looking for Hampson. It was cut off by Tripodi. It was uncertain of her option, so floats it back to the wing, but all the numbers are Brisbane. It's Ellinger. Hits the 45, kick to the leading Davidson through her hands. Emma King just sinks the boot into it, launches it, tries to get it over the top. Can Randall run onto it? It's Campbell versus Randall. Randall's got the speed. Campbell's got the position. Randall keeps her feet, steps around Lutkins, pops a handball. O'Loughlin, well worked. Emma King with the launch from half-back. We've seen it a couple of times. Brisbane's defence pressing up. North trying to get over the back. Great work from Randall. Links with O'Loughlin, and the Roos have got the first 2.
Definite breeze favouring that right end of the ground, and you could see that kick from Emma King just hang and carry very long. It was great from Randall. When you're in that situation running one-on-one towards goal, it's who makes body contact first. So Campbell went purely the ball. Randall made the body contact. Campbell unfortunately went to ground. It was very good presence of mind from Randall not to just slap it on the boot and try and have an errant shot. She squared it back up, and really good goal square running from Alice O'Loughlin.
So the opening 2 goals go to the Kangas after Brisbane had that extended period inside their forward 50 but came up goalless. Dawes. Anderson almost had it slapped away by Conway, which allowed Craven to take possession.
Yeah, and you've been able to see the Brisbane kicks, whenever they have kicked long, it has held up a little bit. So definite wind advantage at the moment for the Kangaroos in this term.
Picking in the ruck for Brisbane, socket forward by Riddell. Nice gather, O'Loughlin, slick give Riddell. Kenda happy to kick it to space inside 50 and let their forwards get to work. Wall tried to flip it back to Randall. Wall will now go hunting Jen Dunn. Here's Mia King, gives it off. Chance for Shearlaw from point-blank range, but she misses.
Probably had a little bit more time than she thought there. Needed some voice from her teammates to tell her to just straighten up, square up her hips and have a full shot at goal. Thought she had to get her boot to ball a little bit quicker than she actually needed to.
Kate Shearlaw now with 5 goals, 9 in her last 7 and a bit games. Opportunity goes begging there, but North Melbourne looking dangerous inside 50. Spark. Kathy goes to Conway. Beautiful step around O'Shea and then wants to accelerate away towards half forward. It was an awkward one right. Completely lost the flight of the ball. Ran into Ruby Spark. Front on contact to call. Draws a player. Gives it to Anderson. Anderson to Dawes. Confronted by Riddell. Kicks it inside 50. It was good front on pressure from Ash Riddell. Impacted the kick and Carney could cut it off.
So second intercept mark for the game as well. They're getting that game going. Pressure from the midfielders on the kick, and then it's hanging up for the halfbacks to really rebound out of that defensive 50.
Just looking to change lanes at every opportunity. Is that going to be a 50? No, they're going to bring it back. That's the new rule with, it's coming about 12 months ago with faking the handball. Have to reset the mark if you do get the player to move. As Riddell kicks it inside 50, they've got another option, and Kate, their ability to change lanes at the moment is excellent. This is Smith.
Yeah, Craig Starcevich and the defensive coaches won't be super happy, though, with that from Brisbane. They had the time to reset and that as well. Had time to reset while that ball was brought back. And still two uncontested players inside 50.
Couldn't complete the grab, and then you see it as the hands to her face slaps the ground. The top of your screen, a wasted opportunity there for North Melbourne. Conway, who's just been everywhere in this opening term, 8 touches for her, 8 for Anderson. Carney's had 8, Riddell 7 for the Kangas. This is Kathy Spark.
And 4 uncontested marks for Sophie Conway, just to show how hard she's working, and that's a 5th as well. So she's just working all the way back in defence to be that release kick out from their D50.
Incredible runner. It's going to be tested today in 35-degree heat. Nice grab from Sheila.
Got to go quickly here if they want to score.
Again, they look to change the angles. Never kicking straight down the line at any time in this opening term. Little chip kick is good to Sheila. They're going to run out of time here. Kate's going to launch, but I don't think they're going to have time to get on the end of it unless there's a free kick in this contest. Gets over the back of Wall. Campbell. Vicky didn't hear the siren. Well, that's going to cause some problems.
That was not necessary.
Davidson comes in to remonstrate. I'm not sure if Vicky Wall heard the siren or not, but she continued on with the tackle, and Davidson steamrolled her. Vicky's got some things to say. Kathy Spark in her face.
Kathy Spark's playing the role of the MRO there, just telling her that she's slung her to ground.
If it wasn't spicy enough, last year's grand finalists in 35-degree heat, the temperature dial's just been turned up that little bit more. Quarter time at Springfield. North Melbourne 2-2-14. Brisbane 2 behinds.
All right, quarter time here at Brighton Homes Arena in Ipswich, and it's North Melbourne. Wow, I'll tell you what, they're teaching the last year's premiers, Brisbane Lions, how to actually play this game. North Melbourne 2-2-14. The Lions just 2 behinds, 2 points. I think, players getting a little bit toey at the end there, but all good. Annie, how you going? Ryan, good on you, champ. ADG, what's going on? And of course, Carly was in there earlier. How you going, Carly? Yeah, those the peanut M&Ms. I tell you what, when you start, you just can't stop. That's me anyway. I used to get a bag of peanut M&Ms, and my gosh, I'd it'd be go to woe for me. I love them. Yeah, first time trying the peanut butter ones. I love them. My mum bought me them as a treat. She did very well. Yeah, I know. It's I like the chocolatey, then the crunch, and then the the peanut in the middle. All I've got at the moment is like plain chips. That's it. That's all I've got. Anyway, happy Sunday. I'll tell you what, at least you're happy there. You've got your peanut M&Ms. You're enjoying those, absolutely. So there we go. It's a beautiful day, as I said, 35 degrees up there in Ipswich. It's a hot day to play football. I'm pretty sure they'll be stacked with ice packs at quarter time, trying to cool down their system a little bit. North Melbourne looked reasonably good in that corner. I tell you, it's a nice ground up there. It's a beautiful sunny day. Both teams, a bit of an arm wrestle. Be kind of sad here yesterday, August 31. It was my dad's 96th birthday. Oh, wow. Your late dad's 96. Well, happy birthday to his birthday. He may not be here in person, but I'm sure he's still there in memory and looking over you, Annie. No worries about that. It's always hard these days, isn't it, when it's your late parents or, someone close that had their birthday and, you just wish they were still here with us. It's a sad day. Ebony B, how you going? Welcome into this one. Brisbane Lions playing North Melbourne. Good to have you aboard. Good to have you here. let's just have a little bit of a look at the player stats, shall we? Sound good? Sounds good then, folks. All right, Emma Kearney there, tops the table with Sophie Conway, both with 9. We'll just run down these. Ellie Anderson there with 8. Isabel Dawes with 7. Alice O'Loughlin there for the Kangaroos, just the 4 touches, 3 kicks. Snagged a goal. Sarah White, just the 2 touches. Vicky Wall, 2 touches. 1 handball, 1 kick. She's got a goal. Fantastic. There we go. And looking down, a few other players that you may know if you follow the AFLW. Some of your favourite players there. Of course, don't forget this Thursday night coming, folks, we have the men's first final of the series. Let me just go back to the goal scorers. Vicky Wall and Alice O'Loughlin are the only goal scorers so far in the match. Let's head back here. There we go. And of course, as I said, Thursday night, 7:40 p.m. Melbourne time, it's Port Adelaide taking on Geelong in the first final. So it should be an absolute cracker. It's going to be a sellout, and the big boys start to play final series this Thursday. So we've got a game on Thursday night for the men's finals. Then, of course, we've got Friday night following the Thursday night game, Bulldogs taking on Hawthorn. And then, of course, Saturday afternoon, Sydney Swans, the league ladder minor premiers, taking on the GWS Giants. And then, of course, Saturday evening, we've got the Brisbane Lions taking on Carlton. So they're the 4 big games coming up next week in the men's finals there. Hey, Ebony from Badass. Hey, Annie from Ryan. What's going on? What's going on? All right, let me take you back down to the ground. As it's North Melbourne by 12 points as we head in to the second quarter here at Brighton Homes Arena.
As I mentioned, 35-degree temperatures and plenty of humidity as well. Here's what it means. Quarter time, three-quarter time, extra 2 minutes. You can see both teams have elected to head to the shade. Half-time break, extra 4 minutes across half-time. So in total, extra 8 additional minutes for recovery and hydration. All important because whilst they've been putting in time throughout the pre-season, Kate, particularly North Melbourne, haven't had to deal with this sort of weather. They've had a couple of warmish practice games, but nothing quite like this.
Yeah, nothing like this. And the heat that you experience up in Brisbane is completely different to the heat we get down here in Melbourne, even if it is the same temperature. But I remember the pre-seasons that we used to do up there in summer, and you'd come down and play football in Melbourne and you'd feel fresh as compared to what you felt up in Brisbane. So the conditions will definitely favour Brisbane, but they are a player down now with Davidson going down quite early in that one with a wrist complaint. So we'll see who holds up better. Just major ball winners for both teams. Sophie Conway being busy with 9, Ali Anderson 8, Belle Dawes with 7, and 7 really impactful possessions as well. On the other side of the equation, Carney running off halfback, 9 disposals. Riddell through the middle with 7 and Garner with 6 as well.
What was the message from Craig Starcevich, do you think?
I think it would be much of the same. I think the first thing, though, get up in their face, take away their uncontested possessions and take away that handball received off half-back. So Emma Carney having 9 disposals with 3 being uncontested possessions and 2 intercept marks, need to get up and really cover her off a little bit more.
Let's take you inside the North Melbourne camp. Their coach Darren Crocker with Alyssa.
Thank you very much. Darren, just listening in on the huddle then, you sounded pretty happy with your side, obviously the opening 2 goals there, but the key, consistency, is that the message to the team?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's been a really strong start for us. You know, it was a bit of a game of territory. They had it for a while, we got it for a little while. We took our opportunities, which was nice, but there is a bit of a breeze blowing their way this quarter, so we've just got to, combat that.
And how do you combat the heat as well? A little bit different for your side.
Well, it's nice being able to come over in the shade here, but it's a little bit different. But we've had a ripping pre-season. I'm sure the girls are really fit and ready for these type of conditions.
Thanks very much for your time. Best of luck.
Thank you.
So a good start for North Melbourne. The only 2 goals. There's Courtney Hodder playing her 50th game, as you mentioned, Kate. What a resume. One of the most electrifying players in AFLW history. And the other lady in shot, Nicole Bresnahan, also playing 50 today, and 50 also to Mia King.
Courtney Hodder, goal of the year, mark of the year, grand final goal that could have been goal of the year, except it's already awarded before the grand final, and 18 tackles in another grand final.
And a couple of premierships.
Yeah, well.
Second term, North Melbourne lead it by a couple of goals, but Brisbane have the breeze at Springfield. King goes hunting it. She ripped Hickey off the football. Anderson taken down illegally by Garner. Free kick to Ali Anderson.
If anyone ever asked me what sort of style of player I was, I just say, oh, pretty similar to Courtney Hodder. So just that small forward type, very electric. Just claiming a little bit of her honours there.
Fair enough. Outward to the spin. Gets away from Eddie. Eddie's kick inside 50. Nicely got off the boot by Birch. So Darren Crocker, delighted to have Libby Birch in his back seven. Feels like the zone system that they play, she'll fit into perfectly. We saw there just zoning off, filling the space and making the intercept mark. Ellinger pops the handball over the top. Now O'Dwyer, Postlethwaite towards the top of the square. Carney with strength. Brisbane fans wanting a free kick. Nothing doing. Here's Birch again.
9 intercept marks to 2. That's what's really changing this game through the back half for the Kangaroos.
Back to Carney, onto Craven.
Might want to think about Craig Starcevich sending someone to be a defensive forward on Carney. She's the leading ball getter on the ground for North Melbourne with 11. Can't let her have that much of the footy and expect it not to impact.
So 10 kicks at 90%. Hampson can't keep it alive. So dangerous, so creative, Emma Carney. Throwing the experience of Libby Birch down there as well.
And that's what's allowing her to do this role as well. Libby Birch playing that more lockdown defensive role and Emma Carney being able to sort of zone off her opponent a little bit more and take those intercept marks.
King taken down. Postlethwaite punches it inside 50. A wrestle, a free kick. It's going to Davidson. Davidson and Carney, two of the most ferocious competitors in AFLW history. Neither of them taking a backward step literally there.
Let's be honest, two of the most annoying on the field as well. They're going to just do everything they can to annoy each other, and then it was a stalemate of who was going to move first.
Free kick against Ferguson. Going to Dakota Davidson. Kicked behind in the opening term. We saw the breeze rip that hard from right to left. Let's see what it does at this end of the ground. For Brisbane's first, and she reads it perfectly. Right to left at one end, left to right at the other, and Brisbane are on the board. Dakota Davidson with her opening goal of the season. Brisbane closed back within a straight kick. Beautifully read by Davidson, who learned from that first kick at the other end of the ground. Shaped it perfectly.
This is the end of the ground where the Brisbane Lions change rooms come out, so you can bet your bottom dollar before and after each training session. Dakota Davidson would have plenty of shots at goal from that end, and didn't she just absolutely assess the breeze perfectly, left goalpost and let the wind do the rest.
Brisbane get the opening goal of the second term with the breeze at their back. Anderson couldn't find it. Smart just put the head down, tried to crash through, but couldn't break free. There, King laying that tackle. Rennie in the ruck against Hickey. Nowhere at all for Taylor Gatt to go. Hickey wins that tap. There is Gatt, feeds it back to Bresnahan, who leaves it behind. Well done, Riddell. Got it to Gatt. Now King, run from behind is Bresnahan, being pursued by Grider. The kick towards the pocket, playing in front was done. Spoil from the back, creates something for Shearlaw. Handball through, Eddie, open goal. Martin puts it through. Well-worked team goal from North Melbourne, and they respond and re-establish a 12-point break.
Looking at the handball received numbers, it's 19 apiece, but it's been the damage that the handball received has done from North Melbourne. They've been able to just run and gun. They were outnumbered in the defensive line there, Brisbane, a little bit of a defensive lapse. So as the ball came in, all they needed to do was bring it to ground. They were good enough to do so. Really nice from Kate Shearlaw to get that sweeping handball over the top as well. And a really good hand in there from Bella Eddy to bring that to ground. Really nice transition goal from North Melbourne.
So back to a 2-goal game. Smith jumped over the top, got the hit out. Garner spun through a tackle, released the handball. Anderson had it stripped by King, who fed it back to Rennie. Now Garner tumbles towards half forward. Awkward bounce. This will work for North. O'Loughlin. Mia King. Can she find a target inside 50? It's Randall one-on-one against Dunn. Randall lays the tackle. Dunn goes to ground. Here's Martin again. Pops the handball to Talia. Good defensive run from Conway to get back and to support her defenders. Talia Randall, former Brisbane Lion, started her career with the Lions. Garner, little flip, was clever to Eddie, who bends it back. It's going to land in the square. Brisbane have got good numbers and they rush it through.
Bella Eddy working really hard in the forward line. Just working her way to stoppage, getting very busy there. Ran through the stoppage. No Brisbane Lions player went with her and made the most of it with a shot on goal.
So North by 13 points. Dunn with the kicking, goes straight up the middle, gets good distance with the breeze. Trying to get it over the back to Hampson. She can't escape Mia King, lays another tackle. Good blend inside that North Melbourne midfield. Offence and defence. Free kick for a push. It's coming back to Kim Rennie. Thought about giving the handball to Carney for the run from behind, but she was covered. So she'll kick inside 50 instead, and it's well read by Grider. Heads to the outer side. Beautifully weighted kick, but dropped, which put O'Dwyer under pressure. Well done, Bolts. That was clever. Grider turns tackler. Mullins floats a handball, made life difficult for Postlethwaite. Did that arm slip high from Carney? It did. Free kick, Lily Postlethwaite.
Had the easy option in Hodder there. Could have probably given that before going that long over the top, which just invited Carney's pressure. Lucky that they got away with a free kick there.
Ellie Anderson, 11th touch coming up.
It's good tempo from Brisbane, though. They're just recognising that North have been on top in this game, so just trying to build up a little bit slower as they move into attack now.
Mullins to forward 50. Now can they pounce at ground level? Dawes tried to do just that. Players pile in. Rennie in the ruck against Smith. Gatt. Quick kick out. Brisbane have got numbers. Anderson. Another little floating handball was picked off by Gatt. Now it's King versus Campbell. Emma gets there first. Shannon wraps her up. She goes to the voice. The voice is O'Loughlin. Can she get past Ellinger? She can't. Turnover comes. Away comes Grider. She's got a couple of options. Sliding in was Mullins. Gatt. Lunging effort from Postlethwaite. Some scrappy play on the outer wing. Neither team can chain up effectively. King of the Mia variety misses Emma, who then takes an air swing. O'Loughlin. Can she hit a target? Not with that kick. Awkward bounce for Lutkins. Gives off the handball. Bolts will come away through the back edge of the centre square. Takes a bounce. Well done, Craven. Bolts just found her boot, but was affected by the tackle. Bolts will go again. She's wrapped up by Shearlaw.
That's great work rate from Poppy Bolts. I know she sort of had the kick affected, but then to put her head down, really that gut run to get over and make a contest at the next ball or the next stoppage there, really, really good work. Brisbane's tackle pressure has gone through the roof this quarter.
Runs away from Smith. Waits the kick over the top. It's a good one for Hickey. She's got it 60 from goal. Dawes is tracking back towards the square. Hickey looks more centrally. One-on-one contest. O'Dwyer versus Gatt. Birch gets in there to put some pressure on. O'Dwyer gets the hands free. Mullins nowhere to go. Immediately hammered by Tripodi.
You just feel like they're so well drilled, the Lions, their wingers, that they know if they look back in board at any point, one of their wingers in Conway or O'Dwyer are going to be pushing down. Would have liked that, see that goal go a little bit more, that kick go a little bit more towards the goal face, though, to put North Melbourne pressure under a bit more pressure.
Hodder finds the football, tries to bend it forward, but Birch in best position. Kick towards Smith needs to be good. She kept her feet off her hands, so it'll be a throw in. So just under 8.5 minutes remaining in the opening half. It's been a defensive struggle. Both teams with that come forward pressure, Kate, means that neither team's really been able to string together too many chains of meaningful possession.
Yeah, it's been really good pressure from both teams. The ball carrier not having a lot of time or space with the footy, so making it really hard to get a clean disposal away.
Tripodi been busy. Pops a handball over the top. Garner confronted by Postlethwaite. Kicks around the body. Ellinger in there for Brisbane. Nice pick up Tripodi, but had nowhere to go. Circled back, quick hands, Bresnahan. Well done, Riddell, and they link up to O'Loughlin. Didn't hit the kick well, but it might actually work okay. Bounce beat everyone, got to the back. Lutkins first there, taken down and crunched by Wall. So Vicky Wall, first game back since season 7. Making her presence felt in the opening term. Kicked a goal, involved in an incident on quarter time. Kick inside 50, it was touched off the boot. Greider tries to punch it clear. Campbell at the back, Greider now towards Bolts. It's cut off by Gatt. Can she collect? She can't. Campbell goes back. North look to set up. King put it down to a spot for Riddell. Greider has support, done. High kick, won't quite clear the zone. Still there for Tripodi. Great tackle, Anderson, wrapped the arms, no chance of getting rid of it. Taylor Gatt looking for an interchange.
A few tired girls out there. Obviously the first hit out in the real season is always very difficult, but even harder when it's about 33 degrees in Brisbane.
Garner took Tripodi and out, so a throw in. So it's a throw in every time the ball goes over the line out of bounds inside the arcs, and the last touch rule rather only applies between the two arcs. So this will be a throw in. So North Melbourne have dominated territory in the last 10 minutes. They lead by 13 points. Looks like the game's been played largely on their terms. Randall, a little give. Goes herself. Bounces it. Shearlaw. Riddell was clean. And goals. The cleanliness of Ash Riddell pounced. And quick from hand to foot before Brisbane could shut her down. And LaRue's now out to a 19-point lead.
Good stoppage work here from Talia Randall. Got rid of her opposing ruck and then still stayed involved in the chain. Didn't get ahead of the footy. So she got the ball back, got it to a dangerous position, and then Riddell, very quick hand to foot, snapped it over the shoulder. Good contest from Kate Shearlaw as well. But just looking at the disposals inside forward 50. Forward 50s, the inside 50s, they're +2, but they've had 27 disposals inside that forward 50 compared to just 10 for the Brisbane Lions and 10 tackles in the forward 50, the North Melbourne Kangaroos.
Riddell tries to keep it moving to King. Spark got involved. Now Hickey. Looking for an option. Force wide, really wide. A race now between Dawes and O'Shea. Dawes will get there first. Needs some support. Twists and turns. Escapes. Punches the kick. It's really good to O'Dwyer. She wants to keep it moving. Inside 50. Better ball movement. Davidson. Play on the call. Carney in there scrapping. It comes out. Ruby Spark. Misses left.
It's not as efficient with their opportunities at the moment. That was a similar shot to what Riddell just had, but unable to convert on the scoreboard, but some nice transition play from the Brisbane Lions. How good does Dakota Davidson look? 1 out, leading out of the square.
Hard to stop. That time the ball just got through her hands. Carney the kick in. Hickey in good position, couldn't glove it. Taps towards the line. Emma King calls for a free kick, but nothing doing. Darren Crocker will be happy with their stoppage work, you'd think, in the opening term. They've broken even on the inside in clearances, but scores from stoppage, 5 of their 7 scores from stoppage, 2-3 to 1-1.
And then the others coming from turnover as well. So that's the blueprint, isn't it? Get your stoppage game right, get your turnover game working and scores from it. And yeah, very happy at halftime.
Great clearance, that one. Hot up to Dawes. Inside 50. Now a chance. Conway works hard to try and run onto this. Coming the other way is right. Well played. Craven. Taken down by Mullins. You see the value of a front half stoppage there. They got the clean exit from the clearance and quick ball movement inside 50 to space. Smith ran into King, and Emma King saying, well, look, I wasn't even looking at it. She ran into my arm.
It's probably a fair argument, but you still probably can't hit your opponent in the head.
Well, Emma's argument would be that Taylor Smith headbutted her arm. I'm not sure the umpire's going for it, but Taylor Smith will have the opportunity to go back and kick her first goal of the season. She kicked 9-4 last year. She's become such an important player as that forward second ruck. This will be a handy one for Brisbane. And she comes and reads the breeze beautifully as well. Brisbane have got their second. There's the free kick, K-Mac. What do you make of it?
Yeah, look, I completely understand that Emma King wasn't looking and did not mean to hit Smith high, but she copped her up. That's probably where, as a ruck, you just need to be a little bit more aware. I know you need to watch the footy so you don't give away a block, but you actually need to be a bit more aware of where your opponent's jumping from. And if you want a lesson on how to finish or kick goals down that end, watch the last 2 goals from Davidson and then Smith. Left goalpost is where you have to aim.
Garner bounces it into space on the wing. Eddie knocked off it, taken by Allinger. Brisbane getting some momentum now. Allinger kicks towards half forward. Going back across the lead was Bresnahan. Davidson in there. They'll be happy to set up for a stoppage. And the other one with that King one, I think the umpire probably saw the visual cue, which is Emma King turned around, so she knew Taylor Smith was there. So it wasn't a complete surprise and hung the arm out. Umpire deemed it illegal. Mia King dragged off her kick through the hands of O'Dwyer. Slips away from O'Loughlin. It's good territory with this kick. Oh, taken down in a strong tackle was Davidson. Was that a mark paid? Or was it touched off the boot? It must have been touched. Dakota certainly heard it. Not sure O'Shea did.
She felt it.
Sure did. And Dakota tackles you, stay tackled. Rennie down to Carney. Spark works her to the boundary line.
Carney looking like she's put in a pretty good off-season. Started this game extremely well and just playing that loose role, especially inside defensive 50 stoppages. We saw then beautiful chemistry between her and the ruck, just tapping it straight down Kim Rennie to Emma Carney.
Big names getting involved. Garner's had 14, Carney 12, Riddell 10 for North Melbourne, while Anderson's had 12 for Brisbane, 10 for O'Dwyer and 9 for Conway. Garner this time the tackle on Conan. So North Melbourne never beaten Brisbane, 0-5 in AFLW competition. Riddell harassed to the boundary line and forced into error. O'Dwyer the beneficiary of that good work. Low and flat in the Dakota Davidson direction. Gets over the back. Ferguson with composure to Riddell. Now Garner. Towards Randall, had front spot. Front centre was O'Loughlin. Handball to the boys. King's got to be quick. Just got the kick away as Postlethwaite laid the tackle. North just need to get it over the top here. They've got numbers 4 to the football. Eddie Randall tries to clear the handball. Gets it to Shearlaw. She moves it on. Coming out to meet it was Wall. Plays the tackle, and again, Brisbane defending off the back foot.
Yeah, the first term that happened a few times, and I put it down to the breeze, but they're getting caught out the back a little bit, the Brisbane defenders, just losing their shape, flattening out.
King, a fumble, prevented any shot at goal, is taken down. Anderson bounces it, Mullins attacks it, and is worked to the line by Garner.
And you can feel that North's suspecting there's a little bit of an opportunity, that there's an opportunity that Brisbane getting up really high to defend. So if they can get the ball quickly over the back, roll and go and feed it inside their forward half, there's real opportunity for them to score.
Both coaches know the other so well. Spent the summer planning, probing, trying to find a way to break the other down. Lutkins, Conan, well done, Wall. Off to Riddell. She's already kicked one. That one won't have the legs to get there, and Davidson pushing back really late to provide defensive support in the final minute, and always looking for an angle, Dakota. Trying to milk a 50. Not sure Kate Shearlaw can just evaporate. He's out wide. Mullins at the back. Anderson tries to fend off right. Did well to get it to Smith. Hoists it high. They'll come from all sides. Standing underneath a good Mark Bresnahan. Time for one more. That kick needed to be a little more direct. And the siren will beat Mia King. Half-time, Brighton Homes Arena in Springfield. And the visitors sit on a 2-goal lead, as they did at quarter time. It's North Melbourne 4-3-27. Brisbane 2-3-15. The visitors by a couple of kicks. Kate McCarthy.
It's been a very good half of football. I think both teams making the most of their opportunities. Looking at the stats, fairly even. North have had a few more disposals than the Lions, but inside 50s fairly even, 18-17, but it's been the bang for the buck for North. They've had 4 goals, 3, so 7 shots on goal. The Lions only the 5 from the 17 inside 50s.
2-1 apiece in that second term as we head to Alyssa.
Thank you very much, Jace. Emma, outstanding first half, up by 12 at the moment. What's been the message within the group?
I think for us it's just about trying to play brave. We know that they're a really good defensive side. They're really good in the contest, so I think for us it's about trying to match them in there and then just be really bold with our ball movement, which we were able to do at some stages. A few turnovers occasionally, but sometimes you just got to try to risk it to get a bit more reward.
Your coach, Darren Crocker, was saying that consistency was key for you. Do you feel like you've been able to achieve that in the first half?
Yeah, I think so. I think previous years we've been a little bit up and down with our form, but really pleasing with how we went in that first half. But we know that they're a super fit side. They play out 4 quarters like anyone else, so we just got to keep on our game and hopefully that gets the job done.
Emma, thank you very much for your time. Thanks.
Long way to go in this one. It's North Melbourne by 2 straight kicks at the half. The Kangas 4-3-27. Brisbane 2-3-15.
There we go, half time at the footy. North Melbourne by 2 goals. 4-3-27 to the Lions 2-3-15. That's not a bad game here. Not a bad game at all. The Lions are trying, but North Melbourne, they're just looking the better side at the moment in most departments. Yet we are on the eastern side here. Yeah, we're on the best side, as we say, Annie. We're on the best side, not the west. There's not much over in the west. Definitely not much over in the west. Everything happens over here on the east side. You don't have holidays between April 25 and December. Yeah, we got holidays. We got we got like Easter and King's holiday or something like that. And I think we've got we've got the AFL Grand Final holiday coming up for the footy. So that happens we actually get that on the Friday, the day before the Grand Final, men's Grand Final. And of course, I think there's another one there somewhere. We get a handful or so, maybe 5 to 7 a year, something like that. Something like that. I know. I always used to love the public holidays and the long weekends when I was working. But yeah, I can't remember what days they are now that I'm not working. But you know what? Soon I'll have to remember them when I head back to work. There we go. Ash Riddle, 15 with Jasmine Garner, top of the table, 15. There we go. Let me just roll through these. King's birthday. That's it. Yeah, it used to be the Queen's birthday, but. I think it's, I don't know whether it's just a King's holiday or something like that they call it now. I don't know, so many name changes to everything. It's hard to keep up. All we know is, day off work is always good for the public holiday. I think everyone likes those, especially, I don't know, some countries have a lot more than others. We just get a few. There we go. No multiple goal scorers on the ground today. All single goal scorers, Wall, Riddle, O'Loughlin, Martin are the ones for North Melbourne. Of course, just the 2 goal scorers for Brisbane, Taylor Smith and Dakota Davidson. There are your goal scorers. AFL fantasy points. Ellie Anderson, 57. Jasmine Garner, 54. And all the rest under that. Let's have a look at the quick look at the team stats. Disposals, not much in it, just 15 to North Melbourne. Everything reasonably even. Only 6 kicks ahead to North Melbourne and 9 handballs. Inside 50s, pretty even there. The Lions inside 50 17 times for 5 scoring shots, 18 times inside for 7 for North Melbourne. Disposal efficiency, not too bad, 66-59 for both. Inside efficiency, 50, both a little bit low there, looking to crank that percentage up a little bit. Free kicks 9-5 Brisbane's way. It is a home game for Brisbane. Sometimes that can be a factor. There are your stoppages, hit-outs, clearances, centre clearances, stoppage clearances, all pretty much even. Contested possessions, uncontested turnovers, all pretty much even, as are the marks. Just the marks inside 50. 3 to the Lions, 1 to North Melbourne. All right, let me take you back down to the ground. The commentators will have a little bit more of a chat. Canadian holidays. My gosh, that sounds like that's a place I'd be if they have a lot.
Is getting a lot of the football, but I've been really impressed with Emma Carney's role that she's played off half-back. She's been able to intercept the ball. She looks super fit and ready to run. So handball receives. You can't just leave her alone in her defensive 50 because she's absolutely going to cut you up with her ball use.
Now, when you get to a grand final but you lose, you always take a look at your list and say, what else do we need? Do we need to add a lot to it? Darren Crocker thinks that really all they needed was 1 extra key defender. So when Libby Birch became available, North Melbourne pounced and snapped her up. Now, unfortunately for Libby, 6 weeks ago, she injured her MCL, her medial ligament in her knee, which is normally a 6 to 8 week injury, Kate. She did everything possible in her power to get up for round 1, and she has.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's a real testament to her, and I think it's also a testament to the faith that we've had in AFLW athletes and put them in more of a full-time capacity as well, because she's now had the chance to be paid a little bit better than what she has previously. So that means extra rehab at the club, extra opportunity to get in there in daylight hours to be able to recover as well as she can, which has really given her the opportunity to be up and ready for round 1.
Darren Crocker delighted to get her into the defensive system. They played predominantly a zone defence, and that's what Libby's so good at. Zoning off, intercepting and doing her thing, which also means she can pull back and she can go one-on-one and allow the likes of Carney to do her thing as well.
Exactly, and they've been able to really just take those intercept marks and repel off their half-back line. Inside 50 is very similar, but their ability to score has been really good. But that one there, the promising of being able to get the ball from their back half, turn the ball over, and then turn it into scores. Going end-to-end is very difficult in the AFLW. We haven't seen it a lot. And they're going at 58% from D50 chains to forward 50 chains.
Looking at the kicking efficiency, that's the one area for North Melbourne that's a little bit off, 65% to 47%, and that's coming from Brisbane's pressure. They're +8 for tackles.
Yeah, really a whole lot of frontal pressure from Brisbane in that second term. They've been able to get up in the face of North Melbourne and get them under pressure and turning the ball over a little bit higher up the ground.
Early on, North Melbourne used the breeze to their advantage. This is our match play moment, and it was Emma King just launching it from half back, getting over the back of this Brisbane defence, and that's looked dangerous at times in the first half.
It really has, and during the first term, I said because maybe they were using the breeze, they were finding their way to the back of the defence, but they've been able to really get in there, and even in the second term, with a little bit of a breeze in their face, they've still been able to get out the back of the play.
Final game of AFLW round 1, so we look ahead to round 2. We've got a double header coming away on the screens of 7 next Sunday. GWS Richmond followed by North Melbourne Geelong, back-to-back from 1 p.m. Eastern next Sunday on 7 and 7+. Warm conditions in Brisbane. We have a sizzling second half coming up. North Melbourne lead it by 12 points. supporting AFL Auskick all the way to the big time. There'll be some Oz kickers out there today running around in AFLW. Kate, one of the great things about AFLW now being 9 years old is we have got players coming into the system that have never stopped playing. They started as 5 or 6 year olds at Auskick and they've been able to play all the way through.
Yeah, and we will never have a female that will take part in Auskick and ever have to stop playing the game by anything other than their own choice, which is just phenomenal. And we'll see the talents coming all the way through the pathways from junior footy all the way through to the AFLW.
Absolutely love that. That's just the norm now for kids coming through. Here's the stats at half-time. It's North Melbourne tied by 2 straight kicks. Let's break down these numbers a little bit, Kate. Contested possessions pretty even. North Melbourne snuck out to a larger advantage in uncontested possessions at one point. We mentioned Brisbane's tackle pressure. They're +6 for tackles.
Yeah, the tackle pressure has been very good. It came to the forefront in that second term, which is sort of, I guess, putting a little bit of pressure on the kicking efficiency. So I think we're sort of looking at this game as 2 of the real premiership potential, teams here, but there's so much pressure in and around the footy. It's been really hard to move the ball properly and move it with any sort of authority because of the pressure that both teams are applying to the ball carrier.
Let's take a look at the results so far across round 1. Sydney and Collingwood in front of 5,000 odd people at North Sydney. Really entertaining game. Then a fantastic game over in Perth. West Coast and Richmond, other winners, GWS, Fremantle, St Kilda, Adelaide. Melbourne last night in a fantastic game. Hawthorn over Carlton. Anything there particularly stand out to you?
I think the Melbourne victory over Geelong, that was a fantastic win from them. They dug deep there, Melbourne. They had to come from a couple of goals down early in the game, and Kate Hoare put together a fantastic captain's performance. I think most people predicted Melbourne to slide a little bit and Geelong to start to fire in the tournament. So huge win to get that one early over a team that's touted to be a pretty strong top 4 contention. So Geelong will be, ruining the missed opportunity, went right down to the wire, but Melbourne would be delighted to get that one win under the board.
Brisbane 5-0 in history against North Melbourne. As much as anything, they'd love to continue that run and the psychological advantage that they have. We've seen North Melbourne in positions where they've led Brisbane in previous games but haven't been able to go all the way to the line and win. So if Brisbane could do this again today and come from behind and beat them, that question then lingers in the back of North Melbourne minds all the way to the finals.
Yeah, well, you think one of the teams you probably have to beat on the way to winning a grand final would be North Melbourne or Brisbane, and the chances of them coming up against each other in the final series is pretty high considering what we're predicting for the season. So, yeah, if you keep leading at halftime, I'm pretty sure they led at the grand final in halftime as well.
5 points up at three-quarter time. They were in Brisbane kicked only 4 goals in the last quarter.
And then the last couple of times prior to that, they've also had opportunity to take a lead in from halftime to win the match and haven't been able to get over the top of the Lions. And it's a pretty short sort of history that we've had. So to be 6-0 against a team, that's pretty damaging.
Especially when both teams have been so good for most of their history. Now, it was interesting. We spoke with Darren Crocker in the lead up to the game and we asked him about the grand final. Did you mention the grand final to your players? He said, we didn't speak about it at all. After the game, across the pre-season, he said he's watched it 3 times. The first time was through the bottom of a stubby. The second time was watching it from a North Melbourne perspective. What can we do better? What can we add to our game? Third time was watching it from a Brisbane perspective. How can we pick them apart? And we've seen some of that today, some little things that they've put into play. But he said in terms of actually mentioning it to the players as a motivation, doesn't believe in any of that stuff, grand final, redemption, etc. This is a new season.
Yeah, and a couple of the players that didn't play on that day was Vicky Wall, who's been pretty good today, had a bit of an influence on the game, kicked a goal, but also have had a lot of forward pressure and a lot of presence in that forward half. And the other one, Libby Birch. So whilst her game and her numbers haven't been super, they're not jumping off the page at you and you wouldn't be overwhelmed with it, it's what she's been able to allow Emma Carney to do that's added a lot to this defensive unit.
Let's take you into the Brisbane camp at halftime. Alyssa Smith is with Craig Starcevich.
Yes, thank you very much, Jay. So, Craig, what was your message at halftime? Obviously down by 2 goals, North Melbourne dominating territory.
Yeah, not as much as we thought. Like statistically and territory-wise, it was a little bit, probably fairly close, to be honest. They're marginally ahead with a few of the 50-50 balls at ground level. So just fractionally more clean and a little bit more precise going forward. So there's a few things there that we need to tidy up. But pleasingly, our work rate and pressure was still really high, and we got our noses well and truly in front that quarter. So just not the result for effort.
When you say a couple of things to tidy up, what are those?
Cleanness, mainly. Yeah, just playing a high-quality opposition and being clean with every one of your possessions is vital, and they're just fraction cleaner than us at the moment.
Beautiful. Thanks very much, Craig. Best of luck.
Thanks to Alyssa. Thanks to Craig Starcevich for his insight and transparency as always. And I think cleanliness is something we've been talking about, Kate, is that they both would like to be able to tidy it up a bit more, but it's a byproduct of the pressure. They're both so very, very good with relentless pressure. It's just hard to be clean.
It is, and if you give that one handball backwards, it might open up something, but as soon as you give a second handball backwards, all you're doing is actually applying more pressure to the person that's receiving the handball than you are with you've got it yourself. So sometimes a quick kick forward is actually all you can muster up in these environments when both teams are tackling well, they're tackling hard, and they're not really leaving a whole lot of uncontested possessions out there.
Second half, round one, grand final rematch. North Melbourne lead it by 12 points. Warm conditions at Springfield. Early whistle as Spark was running onto the football as a hold. It's coming back, it's going to Ali Anderson, her 15th touch coming up. What a consistently brilliant player she's become. Bounces it towards half forward. Nice gather from Dawes. Just punched the handballs a little bit behind the intended target, so Conan had to go back and find it. You see Dawes there just slapping her hands together in frustration. It's that cleanliness we're talking about.
That's exactly what Craig Starcevich is referring to. Just those little missed handballs, those opportunities where Brie Conan would have been out and sending that ball inside forward 50 if that hit the mark.
Taylor Smith did well, paddled to her own advantage, then to go back and, in fact, it's O'Dwyer and find it. Campbell. Anderson twisting and turning, trying to escape. Kick will work. Mark wasn't completed by Mullins. Crashing through and hurting herself in the process was Carney. She's just holding the side of her head. And the free kick's going to go to Craven. There's another look. Through comes Carney. Just cops the right hand of Mullins to the side of the face. Craven spears the kick. That's a good hit up from Sheila. And now she's sore as well. Landed awkwardly there.
Good low flat kick from Tess Craven. That's what you want as a forward on a lead.
Sheila to the 50. Through the hands of Hickey. Dunn just gritted her teeth and tried to crash through. Eddie, little give. Riddell pops it over the top. The dangerous Garner only needs half a chance. Nicely worked from North Melbourne. Kick inside 50 to a contest. They get the crumb, they change lanes, and they get it in the hands of one of the best users in the competition. And they're out to a 3-goal lead.
Let's have a look at this forward pressure from Talia Randall. That is a fantastic tackle to get that to the ball to ground. And then Brisbane Lions have been defending D1, which is where the ball is, really well, but not the D2 and D3. So that's the 2-3 chains of handballs. And each time they've been able to get that out of a stoppage, they've actually had players just out. And that's what Jazz Garner was on that occasion. You can't give her that much room inside 50. She's going to make you pay.
North now lead by 3 goals once again. Hickey got the tap. King went tracking it. Craven coming in off the square. Good challenge here for the reigning champs. Last year's runners-up with a 3-goal lead early in the second half. Riddell can't prevent the kick from Anderson. Gets it to 50. O'Shea couldn't complete the grab. It spits out the back to Hampson. And she misses way left.
Pearl Dawes, that was the player that got that handball out. Not long after she picked it up, had that handball already been delivered to Hampson. She's just such an exciting player, Jace. When she gets an opportunity to make an impact on the game, she takes it.
Ferguson, great grab, Sheila. Not a great handball, though. Really sold Libby Birch into trouble. Had to just scrub a kick down the line to keep it moving, and Brisbane can now pounce. O'Dwyer, good effort from Sheila, affected the kick. And Birch can tidy it up. That's a dangerous kick as well. Beats all comers. Riddell will run back onto it, takes the contact, pops the handball to Garner. Garner flips it wide. Bresnahan, Conan working hard to try and shut her down. She's going to run her to the outside. It's O'Shea. O'Shea will go to forward 50. Good body work from Ellinger. Got rid of her opponent. Tidied up at the back by Dunn. Ellinger's kick not great. May come back here. Handball over the top. Look out, Gat. She's swallowed up by Ellinger. Conway wrapped up by O'Shea. Ball up forward 50 for the Kangas.
Really nice ball movement from the back half there from North Melbourne. They're very well drilled. You can tell they want to take that kick inboard because they had numbers there. If you get numbers there and it does turn over, or if the kick doesn't quite hit the mark, you can at least get numbers to the contest.
Taylor get off a step, high kick. Sheila looking dangerous in the third. Creates a crumb. And another North Melbourne goal. Eddie on the board. This is a great start to the second half from North Melbourne. They've doubled their 2-goal lead at half-time. They're now up by 4 straight kicks. Once again, it's through good coordinated forward play.
And this is where the ball movement came from. This kick from Libby Birch, yes, it's missed the target, but look at how many North Melbourne players are in the area compared to Brisbane Lions players. That's what I mean when I say they're well drilled. They know how they want to move the ball. Then it's a chain of handballs all the way forward, get a stoppage. Nice kick inside 50. Sheila does her job. If you can't mark it as a forward, you bring it to ground. And then a beautiful finish as well by Eddie. But that's the 3rd goal now from defensive mid, which is that kick from Libby Birch back inside. Love to see that from the Kangaroos.
This will be really pleasing, Darren Crocker. All the things they've been working on through the winter at the moment on show. They lead by 4 goals. Garner. Gatt versus Anderson. Anderson slips away. Conway, Brisbane looking for a response. Mullen, Anderson just got the kick inside 50. Here's Birch, and again, one intention, and that's to attack. Dangerous kick to the middle of the ground, but that's how North Melbourne have been playing, taking those risks. This time Bolts will get it and pump it back inside 50. Davidson worked underneath it, good front and centre doors. Gave a fend, bought herself some space, dishes to Mullins, ripped off her boot by Garner, who then clears towards the wing. King, clever. O'Loughlin elusive. Campbell stuck to the task. Wall couldn't complete the grab. She'll now look to put pressure on Greider. She does. Drives her to the ground. Wins the football. Held up. Darren Crocker said, I love our contest work. I love our defensive structure. The one area we need to work on is our ball movement and our efficiency inside 50, and we can see the things they've been doing over the winter, Kate.
Well, if they're some of his KPIs, they can get a big tick so far in this game. They're 2 of the things that have really turned this game into their favour, their ball movement and their efficiency when they're getting the ball inside 50.
One of the key stats for them was that they were number 1 in the comp last year for inside 50, but only number 5 for scoring. They haven't been able to put it on the board, but today they're looking really dangerous inside 50.
Well, they've actually had 1 less inside 50 than the Lions, and look at the score difference.
Smith. Handball didn't quite have enough on it to get to Tripodi. Here comes Mullins. She just pumps it into space. Chance for Conway to run onto. O'Shea's with her. Coming across to provide support is Birch. Can she get there? Conway kept running. Brilliant, Sophie Conway. Over the top. Hodder, will it sit? To the pocket. Wright comes out to confront her. Courtney keeps it alive. Desperate smother from Wright. O'Shea comes in on Hampson. Good defence from North Melbourne.
Did really well not to give away a free kick there to O'Shea because Hampson had put her head over the footy. Really professional to not go straight in and give away that free for high contact.
Ready in the ruck against Smith. Tripodi taken down, couldn't find her boot. Play on the call. Smith again tried to fashion a handball. Dawes, strong tackle on Tripodi. Carney in there taken down by Hodder. It's tough in the clinches at the moment. And there we have a look. We talk about forward 50 efficiency. 3 inside 50s for 2 goals for North. They've looked dangerous all afternoon. They've had more space, and that's off the back of your ball movement, Kate, isn't it?
Yeah, they've opened up the ground. They've been able to transition it. When you see here for Brisbane, there's so many numbers inside their forward 50 because the ball has lived down there at times. But if you transition it end to end, as they're doing now, there'll be lots of space.
Garner's kick bounces towards the wing. Campbell versus Emma King. Martin to O'Loughlin. Pumps it into the middle of the ground. Big ball to be won here. Bolts worked off at Mullins. Smith goes to ground. Now Bolts turns Shepherd up. Mullins against Smith. An old-fashioned 2-on-2. And in the end, the umpire calls for it. It was like an old training drill. 2 of you versus 2 of them, and boot it to the wing.
The retrievals, out you go. Hated those during pre-season. Always very taxing. You can see here they're really starting to get their game going, North Melbourne. Lots of clearances in this third term and just lots and lots of pressure. Brisbane struggling to move the ball.
Conway off the back of the stoppage, boots it forward, but Carney gets on the end of it. Now got some experience behind the football with the likes of Carney and Birch. Riddell down the line to Smith.
Look at Carney's work rate here.
And there is Emma. She continues to run, grits her teeth. Not a great kick inside 50. It might still work though. Randall comes out to meet it. Will bend it back towards the goal square. And Campbell's got it covered.
Emma Carney
needs
was
to
there.
get back to the 9, and she does.
She was there to get another handball received from Randall there. She could have got a third play in that chain. If you are her forward, you cannot let her run off like that. You must get in front of her and offer some pressure on the way through.
That kick sails into the crowd. Emma Carney, 34 years young. What a player she's been. Inaugural play with the Western Bulldogs. Amy Smith goes short. Here's Sheila, who's having an impact in this third term. She calls a shot. She's going to have a go from 40. Instead, she sets it to the square. Off the hands of Randall. Martin in there on the bottom of that pack. O'Loughlin trying to find some space. She's ripped to the ground. Well done, Allinger comes away. Can they counter-attack here? Hotters handball over the head of Smith. Will it sit for Taylor? It will. Good pressure again, this time from Amy Smith. Down the line to a 3-on-2. Ball hits the ground. Carney under pressure. Ruby Spark to the line. And this game is intense right now. Brisbane trying to lift. North Melbourne trying to prevent them.
And the player that is trying to prevent them is that player that is on screen now. She's just doing everything she can. We saw her work all the way from back half to forward half. Still had the tank, though, to get back to that front and centre, pick it up. She knew the safety of the boundary was there and took it over.
Tripodi off the clearance. Towards the square. Randall just needs a feed. Gets one. Eddie gets 2. North Melbourne lead by 30 points. 7.5 to play in the third term. And this is turning into some performance from the visitors.
Well, they've just been willing the ball forward. That is the cleanliness that Craig Starcevich is referring to. There's a ground ball there, and look at that from your tall forward, Talia Randall. She can take it in the air, but she is such a one-touch player below her knees. We've seen that on multiple occasions today. She's laid tackles, she's got ground balls, and she's passed the ball off.
Multiple options for Randall too. If needed, Eddie had Gat to the outside as well, streaming goalward.
This is beautiful football from North Melbourne.
King. Again, they're prepared to just surge it forward. There was a push in the back, straight into the back of Allinger. So important now. The time is now for the Brisbane Lions to respond. They trail by 30 points. Allinger plays on, steps around O'Loughlin. Goes wide towards the wing for Hickey. North Melbourne have brought it back inside at most opportunities. Bresnahan will look to do that again. Riddell again will look inside. They are wanting to own the corridor, and they're doing it well at the moment. This is King. Mia King hits the 45 to the outside. Here's Smith, can trot to 35. Pop a handball over the top. A fumble from O'Loughlin. Brushes a tackler. Right foot snap. Will it carry? It will! North are on fire! Four unanswered goals in this third term. And they are picking Brisbane apart at the moment. Margin out to 36 points.
Well, they are are just running rings around the Brisbane Lions. We said how hot it was, and we expected that the Lions would probably benefit more from this weather, but at the moment it looks like North are playing at their home ground. They are running on top of the ground and just really selfless play. It's teamwork that's getting them in this game or keeping them in front in this game, and O'Loughlin, she would have been dirty on herself for missing the handball, but then snapped truly over her shoulder. But this is a fantastic performance from the North Melbourne Kangaroos.
Guarantee there'll be 16 other AFLW coaches taking copious amounts of notes on what North Melbourne are doing here. We've seen some tweaks added, some layers, as Darren Crocker mentioned, layers to their ball movement. Look at those disposals in the third term. And they've been attacking disposals. That's the thing. It's not going around in circles or uncontested in the back half. And King gets Allinger.
And they're still only +2 inside 50s for the term, so it's 7-5 North's favour. They've kicked 4 goals to zip. The Lions haven't even kicked a behind in that time.
It's been North's Achilles heel the whole way through, that ability to convert inside 50. Well, today they've unlocked it. Lutkins against Craven. In comes Conway. Tess takes her out of bounds. There's Darren Crocker. He would be delighted. All the things they've worked on across the winter. So education's still been such a critical piece of where they're at with their program. Anderson, Allinger nowhere to go. Said, gives them a manual with some written notes. Then they do a theaterette style where they watch vision. Then they go out on the field and do the walkthroughs and the full drills. So everybody learns differently.
And it's showing they are all on the same page. They know what the game plan is. They know how they want to play their football. And if you give them an opportunity, they're going to put 8 goals on you.
Conan's quick kick. Davidson versus Birch. Davidson with power, just works herself to the front. Birch sticks to the task. Carney comes across to provide support. Hotter now. Might have been clipped high. Was clipped high.
Carney's telling her she raised the shoulder and that she might have taught her how to do that.
7th touch for Courtney. Can she get into the game? Not a great kick. Made life difficult for Anderson. Pumps it back to Hotter. Bends it across her body. Here's Spark, another who could have an impact. Just her 4th touch. She goes searching inside 50. Coming out to meet it was Bright. Just kept her eyes on the football and attacked it in the air.
They only had 1 mark in their forward half for the entire term, the Brisbane Lions. North Melbourne have had 5, so that's really where this control in the game is coming from, the ability to get the ball and take marks in attacking territory. Now
that chain of possessions we spoke about. Smith's kick was partly cut off. Now it's Dunn versus Smith. Smith clean. Gives it to Riddell. She gives it to Garner. The bare minimum distance there. Mark paid. Garner turns, and again we'll look to Craven at 52. Could Craven hit up a kick? She's a beautiful user of the football. And Alice O'Loughlin has been a really handy player. Today she's been more than that. Maybe she's set for a breakout season.
She's an electric forward as well. She's so skillful. You give her the smallest opportunity and oftentimes she makes you pay, but she also is that really good defensive, hard-running small forward.
12 games last season, averaged 6 possessions and kicked 7 goals for the season. Lachlan misses. 2-1 for Alice so far this afternoon. Apologies, 11 possessions a game she averaged last season. She's already up to 12 with 2 goals this afternoon. Lutkins with the kick in. Wants to go straight up the middle, but kicked it in a Randall. Now a chance for Sheila. Well done, Dunn, came across. Lutkins comes again, gets it to Mullins. It might still work. Garner standing in the other direction. Back to Riddell, quick kick. And here's Sheila again. Great forward pressure. And Kate Sheila, the beneficiary, can go back from 35 out directly in front.
Well, the control in this term is just coming from the amount of marks they've been able to take. That's 17-2 in North Melbourne's favour for the third quarter alone.
Kate Sheila steps up and gets another. What a quarter of football from North Melbourne. They've put on 5 unanswered goals. And they've opened up a 43-point lead. And you can hear the crowd, or you can't, more to the point, at Brighton Homes Arena in Springfield. They are almost silent. Stunned by this performance from the visitors.
Couldn't script it any better if you're a North Melbourne fan. The way they've been able to control this game, particularly this third term, they've just had it all on their terms. Going back to that statistic for marks, so 8 of those marks, the 17 that they've taken for the term, have been in their forward half. So they've been able to get marks, have set shots at goal, and also chain possession from the back half to the forward half.
How can Brisbane respond here? We need to see some sort of response from the champs. Mullins, Grider, flashing through, receives again and boots to half forward. Out to space though, tough for Spark. She won't get there. It'll be a North Melbourne ball. And the difference in ball movement direction today, Brisbane from the most part have gone from inside to outside, whereas North Melbourne have gone from outside to inside.
They've been looking to just take the corridor at any opportunity, and Brisbane haven't really adjusted at any point to cover the corridor. They're still going, see here, very one-on-one. They need to come across. There's no use having a half forward over on that far side when there's short 45s to be taken through the corridor, when you know that's how North are wanting to move the ball.
Long down the line now. It might get out the back again. Wall tries to power through. O'Loughlin puts it into the path of Craven. She'll be harassed by Grider. Dribbles it forward. Again, a lovely clean pick-up. Randall, look out. Wall gets coat-hangered. Bell Dawes comes in. And Vicky Wall will get the free kick. And can go back and kick for her second of the afternoon.
Well,
Was this a bit of payback?
No, absolutely not. It's just Beldor's trying to lay a game-saving tackle, but just completely got it wrong on that occasion. Shouldn't have left her feet. She left the ground and then couldn't get her body down low enough to tackle Vicky Wall.
Wall opens up the angle on her left boot and bends it around beautifully. North have got 6 for the term. Two goals to Vicky Wall in her return to AFLW. And it's been 6 goals, 1 to no score in this third quarter. It's been a dazzling performance from the Kangaroos.
It certainly has been, and it's been a little bit of an inability from Brisbane to change their style of defence, because at the moment, I know that their plan coming into this game was to go very one-on-one. They like to defend one-on-one, but they're defending the whole ground. They need to make the ground a little bit smaller to defend so that they have the ability to stop that kick back on the inside. They're taking so many corridor kicks, North Melbourne, which is just opening up the entire ground for them and allowing them to chain the ball wherever they want.
They've kicked 8 of the last 9 goals. Stunning. From last year's runners-up, O'Dwyer, King, Rennie, out to Anderson. Towards half forward. Smith in there scrapping. Picks up the football. Can't escape. Postlethwaite with the tackle. There's the inside 50s for the term. 11 inside 50s for 6 goals, 1. That's been the most impressive thing. There's Kim Rennie down in the foreground. We'll keep an eye on her. Amy Smith. Conan, Kate Shearlaw there providing some support for Kim Rennie. Mullins. Kick goes towards the pocket and play may stop right now.
Yeah, she's holding her lower leg and she's in a really bad way there. I don't know if she's got, looks like the trainer was trying to get the pickle juice out. I hope it's just a really bad cramp. It looked worse than that on first thought, but maybe it is just a really bad cramp because it's nothing on landing.
It didn't look to be any twist in the motion, did there?
The replay sort of
I was waiting to see
shows
if she was getting a stud, but she didn't get studs in the leg either. Yeah, she goes straight for the calf,
cramp.
maybe. Yeah. Which would be a great result given how she went down. Davidson, great slap to a dangerous spot. Well done, Ferguson, in the right position on the goal line. And the siren sounds to end a phenomenal third term from North Melbourne. They make a statement. They kick 6 goals, 1. to 1 behind. Now they're setting up here to see whether or not there's a shot at goal. Was the ball over the line and out of bounds on the full before the siren? Because if it wasn't, it's the end of the quarter. The ball actually has to be over the line before the siren goes. That's what they're looking at right now. Unlike a score situation, it's not when it leaves the boot, it's when it crosses the line. So they've decided that the ball was already out before the siren sounded. So O'Dwyer will get the shot.
This will suit the left foot of O'Dwyer.
Oh, they need this, Brisbane. O'Dwyer from the boundary. And North do a good job to kill it. So at three-quarter time, 6 goals won to no score in that third term, and North Melbourne's 12-point lead at half-time has blown out to 49 at the final change. North Melbourne, 10-4-64, Brisbane, 2-3-15.
Well, you're spot on there, Paul. Never seen Brisbane lose this bad. I tell you what, that was as dominant football you could possibly want to see in the AFLW. 6 goals won to North Melbourne. The reigning champs failed to score in the third quarter. What are they going to bring out in this last quarter? I don't know. I'll tell you what, North Melbourne, they've come out to play. Brisbane look like they've got the hangover, the premiership hangover. Are they going to start like their male team did and not do well the first few games? They look a little bit slow, fumbly. North Melbourne, I tell you what, they look good. They look very good. Very good. It's hard to imagine, Paul, isn't it? I know. Brisbane Lions have been a pretty good team. And, yeah, for North Melbourne to come out and do this. 10 goals for, 64 to the reigning champs, 2-3-15. 49-point leaders. And it's hard to see the Lions coming back from here the way North Melbourne are playing at the moment. Let's go and have a look and see who the dominant players are on the ground. Of course, that's Jasmine Garner, Ash Riddle, 24-23 disposals there for the Kangaroos, North Melbourne. Of course, Ali Anderson on 22 for the Brisbane Lions. Next best is Ola O'Dwyer, 14 for the Lions. And, of course, Kearney, 14 for the Kangaroos. Tell you what a game. I'm thinking no one expected this result up until three-quarter time, that when they went there to the game today, they were definitely expecting this. I think they were looking for a Brisbane victory. Brisbane went into this game as favourites at about 152. I think North Melbourne were around about 230, 240 for this game to win this one. So highly unexpected. Multiple goal scorers on the ground. They're all for the Kangaroos, of course. Vicky Wall, Alice O'Loughlin, Bella Eddy, all with 2 each. Sheila, Riddle, Martin, and Garner, the single goal scorers for North Melbourne. Of course, Taylor Swift and Dakota Davidson, the only goal scorers for Brisbane. Let's hope they add a few more. There's your fantasy points leader at the moment. Jasmine Garner on 91. Ellie Anderson on 80. Let's have a look at the team stats. Of course, this will show North Melbourne getting ahead, taking control of this game. They're about 45 up on disposal count now. Kicks, about 27 up, and the handballs about 18 as well. Inside 50s, not too much difference there. 24 inside 50s for the Lions, just for their 5 scoring shots. That's just not quite good enough. Whereas North Melbourne, 28 inside 50s for 14 scoring shots. That's the difference, folks. When you go in there, give yourself the chance, you've got to get on the board. Going at 50%. Free kicks, 12-8. Brisbane's home game. They're in front of the home of the free kicks by 4. The hit-outs, North Melbourne by 4. The clearances, though, Brisbane got on top a little bit there. 26-21. Centre clearances, 8-3. Brisbane doing very well there. Stoppage clearances, 8 apiece. You wouldn't think that by the scoreboard. Contested possessions, pretty much the same. Uncontested, 32 North Melbourne. Turnovers, 42-36. Brisbane, a few more there. With North Melbourne bringing the heat. India's 42 public holidays a year. Philippines, 18. Thailand, 16. Australia 13, but depending on states. Yeah, so you live in the wrong live in the wrong place. We should be somewhere that's got 42 public holidays a year. I like that. Sounds good. All right, folks, let's get back down to the ground for the final quarter, where it's North Melbourne by 49 points. Can North Melbourne extend this lead, or can Brisbane Lions show a little bit of grit and fight for their pride? The reigning champs, the reigning premiership winners, North Melbourne, Brisbane, who defeated North Melbourne. There we go. Anyway, let's get back down to the ground.
Ball sort of turns over if it's not a pinpoint precise kick. It doesn't matter because they've got runners coming through that they can use handballs to transition the ball from one end to the other.
We know their contest and their pressure's always been good. They've built their game off that in 5 years over Darren Crocker. Our Austell and strong moment this afternoon is exactly that, their pressure.
It's been elite. I mean, they've built this performance. It's opened up in the second half. We said it would, but early in the game, the pressure, the come forward pressure, the ability to pressure the Brisbane Lions, to have to go backwards before they could go forwards. That's what really got the game on their terms. But then the third term, it wasn't pressure, it was beautiful ball movement.
11 smothers to 2 in this game in favour of North. Jazz Garner getting involved as she always does. 24 possessions, 9 ground gets, 6 clearances, 15 contested possessions, 5 tackles and a goal.
Yeah, I think again, she's just making a statement that I think, in my opinion, she's the best player in the game. She is just everywhere. She has the ability, though, not only to get lots of clearances, to get lots of disposals, but her ability to win contested possession on the inside. So 8 of her 11 disposals in that third term have been contested, and she's kicked a goal as well to go with it. 400 metres gained. I think if she doesn't win the MVP, or at least get 3 votes out of this game, she honestly cannot be seen by the umpires.
Win, lose or draw from here for Brisbane, what do they get out of this final term? What do they need to get out of the final term?
They need to get some control. They had 2 marks that entire quarter in the third term. North Melbourne had 8. So keeping the ball, being able to win some clearance, but control the game, get some marks, take it forward and go from there.
Brisbane's biggest ever losing margin in the history of AFLW is 39 points against Melbourne in round 3 of 2019. And that quarter that North Melbourne scored there, 6 goals, 1. Kate, you're telling me that's the bigger than any score they've ever kicked against Brisbane in an entire game?
Yep, so the highest total against Brisbane in the 5 previous matches was North Melbourne's 33 points. They scored more than 33 points in that term alone.
How can Brisbane respond here? Final term action, they trail by 49 points. As we say, this one may not be about the final score, might be about what happens in the next 20 minutes. Can Brisbane turn things around a little, get some control back in the game as we start the final term? King tries to get it to King. Anderson's handball cut off by Craven, and Ellinger with a strong tackle.
It's a good start from Ellinger to set the tone like that. Wherever you can impact, some good body work from Anderson as well, but they're doing everything they can to get themselves back into some momentum in this 4th term.
They'll be desperate to get back to basics. Firstly at the coalface for Brisbane, they pride themselves on that. Anderson to Dawes. Just manages to slip Gat. Conway makes good connection on the kick. Off the hands of Ferguson, well done Smith, but she's harassed. Hodder gets involved, finds her boot, bounces it goalward. Davidson there, can she control it? She gives one away to Craven. It'll be a free kick to Tess Craven. So it won't be a score, it will be a free kick. Craven to defensive 50, and good mark taken by Emma King.
That's what you want from your ruck. Getting up there to take that relieving mark just relieves all of the pressure. The ball can't go straight back inside 50 when you take a mark like that.
King goes long down the line looking for Sheila. Good grab at the back by Bolts.
Equally as important, that one, Jace.
Now, do Brisbane look to change lanes a little, shift things around? Bolts just goes long back to 50 again, but the numbers are there for North. It may get through the back. Ferguson goes to ground. King found the football. Craven couldn't control it, but Bresnahan could. Handball into the path of Mi. King, who got an important tap to make sure that's a throw in and not a last touch.
I think it was probably Bolt's kick this. Her boot flew off. It did. I thought there was something else that went in the air, and the crowd had something to say.
Talia Randall spotted it too out of the corner of her eye.
That's new. Brings a new meaning to kicking your boot off it and getting as far as you can. It's nearly carried all the way through.
Tripodi wrapped up by Hampson. King and Hickey go again. Hickey, beautiful tap down to Anderson, just a little over her head. Riddell goes down, wins the footy, give it to Craven, who's bumped off her kick. Anderson back towards 50, coming out to meet it. Good strong grab by Dawes. What a player she's become, Belle Dawes. She goes towards the corridor. Davidson stayed down. Can she paddle to advantage? Ferguson crunched in a tackle. Strong work from Spark.
Huge tackle.
Brisbane gritting their teeth early in this final term. At the first 3 inside 50s of the quarter. Anderson, flying shot, is good. We just knew that the Brisbane Lions would come out with some steely determination after being played off the park in that third term. They've lifted their intensity and their work rate in this final quarter, and they get the opening goal of the term.
Anderson has just been phenomenal around stoppage. I don't think North Melbourne have paid her enough respect. Look at that, inside forward 50. No one's taken her, no one's gone with her. That was her 12th clearance of the game. She's leading all comers in that area. I think Charlie Rowbottom has the record with 16. Sitting at 12 just at the start of the fourth term. She's got that well within her sights. She is just putting together some beautiful work at stoppage today. 11
ground gets, 12 clearances, 16 contested possessions, 6 tackles, 4 inside 50s and a goal. What a game from Anderson.
Apparently she was coming off a interrupted pre-season as well, so I think that's put any of rumours of that to bed.
Away comes Hickey. Brisbane trying to build some momentum here. Front and centre, Dawes will bend it back. Not quite enough. Pressure came from the back. And Ferguson takes the grab.
Pressing here, first 4 clearances of the game going Brisbane Lions' way.
Good response early in the final term from Brisbane. Look at that time in forward half. They've controlled it. King pops it over the top. Emma to Mia. Got the hands free to Craven, who bends it back inside. Good attack on the football. Ball spills free. Now to space. Campbell, a fumble. Shearlaw, Tripodi. Well done, Hampson got back onto it. Was important because Eddie was looking to hunt that football. Puts it into the path of O'Dwyer, who'll go back onto her left boot, around O'Loughlin. To half forward. Standing underneath it was King. Pinching it was Spark. One-on-one contest towards the pocket. Can Smith keep it alive? She can't.
If you're defending Orla O'Dwyer, she's always going to take you back onto her left foot. So Alice O'Loughlin there just gave her that spot back inside. Need to know who your opponents are. She will never roll anywhere but back onto her left. So if you take that away from her, that stops that kick going back inside.
Taylor Smith catches her breath, goes against King. Handball off. Allinger feeds it back. Hampson squeezes it through some traffic. Another throw in. Let's hit boundary side to Alyssa.
Thank you very much, Jace. Kim Rennie has just come back on. She did suffer cramping. We saw her earlier go down and clutch her right leg. It looked like her calf. They have put a guard on the front of her shin. They have strapped it up to protect her during ruck contest, but she is back on now, and I have been told by the club that it is just cramping.
Great news. Thanks, Alyssa.
It's going to be a tough last quarter to run out if you're cramping in the ruck.
Sure is.
At the end of the third term.
You ready to come back on?
Yeah, maybe
not just yet. Just give us a minute. Anderson. Misses to the near side.
If I was Darren Crocker, I'd probably want someone to keep a close eye on Ali Anderson at the stoppage for the rest of this game. Try and get that right. She's been pretty damaging. 13 clearances. Might need to have someone stand beside her, especially in their forward 50. But again, this kick mark game, they've got it going.
Carney to Riddell, to Mia King. Now the hit up, straight up the middle of the ground. Here is Rennie. Gets the runner. It's Riddell. Just got players in the right positions all afternoon. O'Loughlin's been deadly. She had a runner going past. Decides she'll go a bit more direct. This one will drop inside 50 onto the chest of Bella Eddy, who's already kicked a couple.
They've just been so good at making the ground really big. So if you're going to go one-on-one defensively with them, they're going to cut you up by foot. So their forwards reset back to goal. They open up the entire ground and lead up at the kicker. The kicker keeps the ball nice, low and flat, and you can't get a hand on it as a defender.
19-5 in her AFLW career, Bella Eddy. Is that one going to get there? Not quite. 43 points the margin. Jen Dunn will take the kick in. Straight up the middle it will go. Didn't quite hit it, it'll float. Garner couldn't complete the grab, but put the pressure on Dawes. O'Loughlin back to Garner. It's going to bend towards the pocket. Here's Darren Crocker. He's excited with what he's seen this afternoon, just content and satisfied that the lessons they've been working on. Said today was the first opportunity to really stress test them. So far they've passed the test with flying colours. Anderson, handball a little fierce for O'Dwyer. Garner broke it up. Riddell lurking. Garner comes in. O'Loughlin as well. It's been such an even team performance from North Melbourne.
It has been contributors from all over the ground, whether they're forwards, mids or backs, and that would be what pleases Darren Crocker the most.
Quick kick forward again. Lutkins. Kick only as far as Erica O'Shea. Outside her range, so she's looking around. Now launches from 50. Bolts. Couldn't get an effective handball away. Conway may have been clipped tight. Play on the call. Bolts comes again. Into the path of Ballinger. Was tackled by Taylor Gatt. There's Craig Starcevich. Making some notes. Emma King. Held up by Conway, you know, as the reigning champs. Every team's going to steal themselves. Every team's been picking you apart over the off-season. Brisbane, so much talent, so much experience in this team. They'll adapt and respond, make no mistake.
Combination of Emma King and Kim Rennie have been dominant in the ruck. 17 hitouts to King, 16 to Rennie. Talia Hickey, only the 14.
Well done, Spark. Brilliant intercept. Has a bounce, doesn't quite come back. Birch came across. Carney, she's taking. Good strong tackle from Hodder and Spark with the extra. Hickey over the top towards Dawes. So combative, Bella Dawes. Works on Garner. Umpire says play on. Gatt kept it alive cleverly. Towards the wing. Good body work from Campbell. Got it down to Conan. And her kick's a good one. Finds Conway. And the non-officiating umpire calls the 50. It was on O'Loughlin, I think, for coming through the protected zone. And that'll bring Sophie Conway within range. Chance to pull one back here for Brisbane.
It was Taylor Gatt that it was awarded against for moving on the mark. I think they thought...
They let O'Loughlin go?
Yeah, I think Conway had started to move off her line, but the umpire hadn't quite called play on yet. So if you beat them to it, yeah, give away 50, unfortunately.
So Sophie Conway a chance to kick her first of the season. Kicked 12 goals last year in their premiership. 30 out. Strikes it beautifully. Such an effective player, Sophie Conway, in both directions. We talked about her goal kicking last year. She started her career as a half-forward wing type. And as time's gone on and she's learnt the game and she's learnt the running patterns and built her tank, she's just become a goal line to goal line specialist.
She certainly has, Jace. Her ability to kick goals in games has just gotten better and better as her career has gone on. Always works really hard forward and back to defend as well, and just knows that wing role really well. There's probably not many in the game that do it better than Sophie Conway.
Almost worth 2 players, the way she can get from goal line to goal line. Anderson had a jumper held by Tripodi. So marching back to 37 points, 6.5 to play. The run from behind is Grider. Grider's kick will go inside 50. Off the hands of Wright. Scrapping was Mullins. Nice give, Spark. Off to Hodder. High ball towards the top of the square. Davidson sets herself. Lovely crumb from Ruby Spark. North Melbourne hold it up.
15 clearances now for Ali Anderson.
Phenomenal performance from one of the best players in the game. Brisbane crowd getting behind their team. They'll learn a lot this afternoon. Craig Starcevich will pick this performance apart. They'll have a good, long, hard look at what North Melbourne have done, as will every other coach in the competition. And there's Ali. Look at that for dominance. Free kick goes to Kim Rennie. Great to see her back. Ferguson pokes the kick wide. Smith down the line to a one-on-one. Wright couldn't complete the grab. Well done, Grider. Bends it towards Spark. Carney spun through a tackle. O'Shea releases Riddell. Riddell goes towards half forward, one-on-one up in front. Good mark taken by O'Loughlin. Pumps a handball to Wall, who's a left footer. She'll wind up from 50. Beautiful kick over the top. Will it bounce all the way? It does, but it misses to the right-hand side of the post.
Let's having a look at Ash Riddell numbers. 27 disposals. She's had 10 score involvements and a goal to go with it as well. Just such a quiet achiever through there in the midfield. There's just so many that play their role and get done what they need to for the team, for just really in no fuss issues again.
Campbell to Conway. The kick was a bit scrubby, so North can get it back the other way. Riddell. Martin bends it inside 50. It'll bounce towards the pocket. O'Loughlin will come out to meet it. Campbell wants the line. O'Loughlin takes her down. Trying to hit her head there. She's landed pretty solidly. Umpire takes a moment to allow Shannon Campbell to compose herself. Here's another look. K-Mac, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think obviously the head makes contact with the ground. The one arm is pinned, but I don't know, the way that they're adjudicated sometimes, I don't think it was that slinging motion. There was momentum though, and she did pin one of the arms, so it will definitely be looked at during the week.
And the kick from Campbell, well done. Great run down tackle from Postlethwaite as Craven was lining up the goal. So Postlethwaite squares it up. Here's Lutkins. Wants to attack up the middle. Awkward one for Smith. Controlled it, but now harassed by Riddell, who wins the football. Pops it up to Tripodi. She has it stripped. Scraps again on the deck. Tripodi tries to push it in the Rennie direction. Grider emerges with the football. Hands it off. Mullins. Outside runners bolts. Wants to take on Wright for speed. Bends it inside 50. Hodder at the back against Ferguson at the front. Hodder with strength. Tries to paddle to advantage. Being harassed by Bresnahan. Hodder still going. Pops a handball over the top. Smith gets there first for the Kangas and clears the zone. Charging out to meet it is Wall. Now O'Loughlin. Time for a bounce. Got options everywhere. Randall could go herself or pop it over the top, and Neve Martin will not kick an easier goal. Well, that was a complete defensive breakdown on the counter there. North Melbourne with the 3 closest players to goal. And it was Neve Martin running into an open goal for her second of the afternoon in game number 8 for Neve Martin. One of these second-year youngsters who's taken the next step in 2024 with a full season under her belt.
Well, of all the goals this afternoon, have a look at the Brisbane players in the middle of the ground there, covering absolutely no territory defensively. Poor Brie Conan's done her best to try and pressure that, but that will be the goal that comes up in review on Monday. That is the most concerning for the Brisbane Lions. There were 3 players that could have kicked that goal for the North Melbourne Kangaroos. That's poor, very poor defensive work.
Next week, the Kangas take on Geelong at Arden Street, 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. North Melbourne fans will be excited from what they've seen this afternoon. Cats had a fantastic game last night against Melbourne. That'll be a beauty next Sunday. Kick bounces inside 50. Wright gets there first, slaps it to Smith. Pressure came from Ruby Spark, now Riddell. Possession number 30 for Ash is a good one. It finds Bella Eddy. And things always look great when you're 44 points up and completely in control in a game, K-Mac. But one thing that strikes me today as Randall comes out to meet it, pops a handball, is they just seem to have round pegs in round holes here. Players playing roles that they're suited for as Smith goes towards the pocket. Can Martin keep it alive? She can, really cleverly, in fact. It's bent towards the goal. It bounces across the face and out.
Yeah, absolutely, and their share of role players all around the ground. They're mids that contribute. You touched on Mia King's ability to tackle, to get in and under, to support those mids that love to run on the outside or win the ball at the source. Then you've got the forwards, all even contributions. Number of goal kickers this afternoon, and defensively they've held up so strong as well. Good to see their key forwards as well, Sheila and Randall, really take a number of strong marks and be good targets forward.
Clever spin out of trouble from Ellinger. Hickey. Hampson. Can Davidson get across to force a contest? She can against Ferguson. Now Soccer's off the ground herself, Dakota. Will it sit for her? The speed of Wright might help her get there first. Davidson will have strength over the football. Can't keep it alive, but will happily settle for a stoppage.
Has the wheels there. Sarah Wright came from a long way back in that contest.
And again, you look at the rejig backline with Libby Birch now in there. It feels like Wright's playing a role she's suited to. Ferguson's playing a role she's suited to.
Well, they've typically had to play a bit more of a lockdown role, those 2 players, but you can tell from the wheels just there, they're more sort of that run off, that dash on a smaller half forward.
Postlethwaite caught high in the tackle by Emma King, and Lily can go back and have a shot for her first of the afternoon. So Lily Postlethwaite, a kick from 20 to 25 out directly in front. It was great to see her come back with a vengeance last season after only playing 3 full games in 3 seasons after an ankle and an ACL and then a second ACL. She came in last year, played every game, played in a premiership and got some reward for the effort she's put in over the years. And she grabs one late here. Lily Postlethwaite hits the score sheet. The margin's back to 38 points.
Well, it's been a more respectable 4th term, but the damage was done in the 3rd from North Melbourne. But their ability to sort of work their way back into the game in the 4th term has been important from the Brisbane Lions' point of view, but just all of the damage done in that 3rd term from the North Melbourne Kangaroos, being able to control the game really well. They have kicked 3 goals to 1 in the final term with 11 inside 50s to 6. So they'll be happy with their ability to, just get a bit more momentum back in the back half of this game. But North still extremely damaging in this game, being able to kick all of those goals in the 3rd term and do it the way they wanted to as well.
So margin at 38 with 46 seconds to play. King, great tap. Emma to Mia. Now to Riddell. Time for one more for North Melbourne if they can be clean inside 50. Free kick. Randall being held. And fittingly, Talia Randall, who's been so selfless today, she's set up multiple goals for other players. You think of the handball received, the last one to Martin. She now gets a chance to kick one herself. Yeah,
she's had 5 score involvements, 4 tackles, and we've seen some of those ground balls she picked up inside forward 50 that have led directly to goals. Deserves one here for this afternoon's performance.
A personal best 21 goals last season. Icing on the cake for North Melbourne. Margin back to 44 points, and you can see her teammates get around Talia Randall. They realise the hard work, the selfless work she's done for others. and she gets her just reward in the final moments.
So we're touching on how even the game's been as we look at the replay here for the free kick, and Kate Lutkins just grabs the arm. So once you grab one arm as a defender or a forward in a marking contest, it's going to be a free kick. But Riddell's kicked one, Garner's kicked one, O'Loughlin's kicked two, Sheila one, two to Eddie, one to Randall, two to Wall, two to Martin. It's a very, very even spread of goal kickers.
12,678, their highest ever score by a long way over Brisbane. It's been years in the making, but the Kangaroos have finally beaten the Brisbane Lions. North Melbourne make an early statement of intent in season 2024.
Clinical performance from North Melbourne. They did everything they needed to in that third term to get the game on their terms, and then were able to run away with it.
That wraps up our coverage from Brighton Homes Arena. On behalf of Kate McCarthy, Alyssa Smith, our entire production team, thanks so much for watching. North Melbourne winners by 44 points.
All right, folks, there you go. Hey, manager in the house. T-name Bem Bem, mega love, shout out, guapa. What's going on? A bit of multitasking. A bit of multitasking, bang, 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 goal. Yeah, that goal was, I tell you what, that was the biggest bit of space they found all day from any team. I don't think there was pretty much any defender inside 50 there. Too easy for North Melbourne. Tell you what, Paul, watching that, they look a good side. They could be the team to beat this year. Although, as I mentioned earlier, Hawthorn did look pretty good against Carlton in the earlier game today. But, yeah, Brisbane Lions, they just couldn't even peg back the margin there, just kicking, although they might have actually. Three goals one they kicked then to North Melbourne's 2-2, so they won the last quarter. At least they can go away with that. Even though it was a big margin, North Melbourne kept the pressure up. They never stopped their hunt for the ball. And they put the pressure on. And that's what you like to do to the reigning premiers. You need to give them a little bit of a spanking like that, just to tell them, you know what, we're still here. North Melbourne, we're a good side, even though you beat us in the grand final. But that was a margin no one saw coming today. North Melbourne 12,678. The Lions could only manage 5-4, 34. Sana all. There we go. Let's just quickly jump over before we end this. Have a look at the players' stats, see who the big ball getters were, and they were Ash Riddle there for North Melbourne, 31. What a monster game from Ash. Look at that, she did it all. 20 kicks, 11 handballs, 5 marks, 5 tackles, even kicked a sausage roll. Good stuff, Ash. Ali Anderson, 29 there for the Lions, best for the Lions there, 28 for Garner, and of course everyone else under 20. But a good all-round performance for the North Melbourne Kangaroos. Everyone did their job there, exactly what they're supposed to do their role, and that's what happens. Everyone puts in their best foot forward, and you get across the line with an emphatic win like that the North Melbourne had today. Tine Kumastaka from Paul. Sana all. Paul, we're multitasking. Multiple goal scorers for the game all come from North Melbourne. Vicky Wall, Alice O'Loughlin, Nima Martin, Bella Eadie, all for 2 for North Melbourne. Of course, the single goal scorers for North Melbourne were Sherlaw, Riddle, Randall and Garner. Of course, only single goal scorers to the Brisbane Lions, Taylor Smith, Pottleswaite, Davidson and Conway with Ali Anderson. There we go. We got a few girls over the 100 in the fantasy points there. Ash Riddle on 117, Ellie Anderson on 113, Jasmine Garner 115. They are your fantasy points. Anyone else under that, folks? They all scored under 100. Let's have a look. Let's take that off. Let's go and have a look at the ladder. See if that's updated. Where is... my gosh. There is the ladder now after round 1, the AFLW, and of course GWS Giants, they sit on top there. Of course the top 8 sides all won, and the bottom the top 9 sides all won and the bottom 9 sides all lost, but it's all, of course, the percentage, the margins they won by. And of course, with GWS Giants winning by such a big margin, 72 to 9, they got an 800%. I don't think that'll last for too long. But there we go. The Giants on top from St Kilda, Fremantle, Hawthorn, who played a ripper game today. They look really good. The Kangaroos, Sydney, Adelaide and Melbourne round out the top 8. After round 1 of the AFLW round 1 season. There we go. Let's just have a little bit of a look. Match centre. Let's have a look at the fixture now for round 2, which will be coming up next week, and of course next Friday afternoon. You've got the Western Bulldogs taking on Port Adelaide. On Saturday, you've got Melbourne taking on the Brisbane Lions. The West Coast Eagles taking on Essendon, Collingwood taking on Hawthorn, and of course next Sunday you've got Richmond versus the Giants, Suns versus Carlton, North Melbourne versus the Geelong Cats, and of course, I tell you what, there's a lot of games on next Sunday. St Kilda, Sydney, and Dockers, Adelaide to round out round number 2. Next week for the AFLW football. There we go. All right, folks, don't forget, coming up Thursday night, we've got the first final of the men's team. Of course, that's Port Adelaide and Geelong. That is going to be a cracking game, so make sure you be here when we cover that. Who's going to win? I think Port Adelaide might win that game. First time ever North beat the Lions. Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And they did it in the best way possible. I tell you what, they gave them an absolute shellacking. They were in control of the game. Yeah, they really did look like the dominant side all day in every department there, Paul, did North Melbourne over the Lions today. You like Ellinger in Lions? Cute though. Santa or Paul? Santa all. There we go. All right, folks, that's about all I got for this one. Thanks everyone for coming in. Don't forget, AFLW next week, and of course, let me just put this up for everyone, because these are the games for the men's finals starting next week. As I said, next Thursday, 7:40 p.m. Melbourne time, it's Port Adelaide taking on Geelong, and on the Friday night, we've got the Western Bulldogs taking on the Hawks. That should be an absolute ripper game. Who's going to win that game? I don't know. That's probably the hardest game to call, I think, all weekend for the men's finals. And then, of course, on the Saturday, a big double header. We've got the Sydney Swans taking on the Giants. And, of course, the last game of the first in the finals, the Brisbane Lions taking on Carlton. You pick Port to win that game. I think Port, they're in really good form. I think they'll actually win that game. They're going in as favourite. It's 148 against the Cats 266. The next game, I actually like Hawthorn there at 219, and the Dogs going in favourite at 168. I still like the Hawks. They're just their running power, and have no fear. I really do like that, and they're just well structured, well coached. They've got their game plan running really well. Sydney 163, Giants 228. I think Sydney's only chance, if they to win this game, they need to come out of the blocks, and need to come out of the blocks fast, get a good start, or else if they don't, the Giants will, and then Sydney's going to find it awfully hard to peg them back. You know, that being said, I think Sydney do have more finals experience, I think, than the Giants possibly, although the Giants have been up and around there, but they can falter under pressure in those pressure situations. And of course, Brisbane Lions Carlton, that's just going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. Who's going to win that? You would think, you'd probably think Lions at home, but, you know, 129, they're short enough. Actually, Carlton's not a bad price at 362. You know, they are all chances at winning. Whether you're favourite or not favourite, they're all chances at winning. But Hawks, Giants, Lions, Port for Paul. Hawks, Giants, Lions. There you go. You could have a multi there, and it'd be a pretty good bet, I reckon. But that is it. So that's it until next Thursday night, 7:40. Should be on board for about 7:30 Melbourne time next Thursday night, when we cover the Port Adelaide Geelong game. Should be an absolute ripper. But that's all we've got for this one. Of course, we had the votes, 24 votes on this game, the Brisbane Lions, North Melbourne. Of course, 58% went for Brisbane, 41% went for North Melbourne. There you go, we got it wrong again. Us folks in the chat, even I tipped Brisbane, but yeah, wasn't got it right. That's all right, not to worry. We'll do better next week, folks, in that department. All right, guys, that's about all I've got for everyone out there. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching the AFLW. It's good to see the girls getting out there and having a kick of the ball. It's good stuff. I think this is the 9th season of the AFLW now. And of course, I think Brisbane's won 3 premierships, so it was a big scalp for North Melbourne to take today in such a way. They'll be celebrating there on the way home from Brisbane. Well done to North Melbourne. All right, folks, that's it. I'm out. Marilyn, how you going? Welcome in. Mega love shout out. Mega love shout out. Yeah, I'm just about to end, but thanks for dropping in. Thanks for dropping in. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, we will see everyone next time. So until next time, ciao for now. And we'll see you Thursday night. Oh, you're Dana. Oh, Siggy. Oh, good stuff. Oh, thanks, Dana. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just multitasking over on Popo as well. It's multitasking. We learnt it well. Yeah, the managers taught me how to multitask pretty well. So it's pretty good. Thanks, Dana. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Artine. Thanks, manager, for popping in. Thanks, everybody else, for coming in. Thanks, Annie. I don't know what Annie's up to now. She's probably finished off those M&Ms. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Ali. Good luck with the Sydney Swans. Next week in the finals. Should be good. All right. That's all I've got for. So we'll see everybody next time. Ciao, guys. Catch you in the next one. Have a great Sunday.